See that? I surrender.
George has officially surrendered.
You won.
No,
I lost.
The problem is, who won?
You know who. You know who. They.
They won. That is the problem.
They won. You know who they are.
Hey, Alex, welcome.
If you don't know who they are, then you don't know the game.
Then they've already won.
They've already won. They.
This was a very strange day. This was up and down, up and down. This day had 10 rallies, only they all failed. Bitcore, hey Jury, how are you?
Hey. So, has anybody lost faith in Bitcoin? That's the question.
Has anybody lost faith in Bitcoin? Bitcoin, has anybody lost faith in the miners? Hey, Garrett.
These are the questions.
Hey, Jury. Alex is saying 29,000 is just down there. Are you saying we're getting close and we're getting near the bottom?
We're getting there. Hey, remember, everybody, I said it at 40. What did I say it at? Like 40 and a half or 40 something?
I got to find it. I literally called this line. See? I called this line George.
Yeah.
A long time ago. So
yeah,
that's where George thinks we're going. And guess what? We seem to be headed in that direction.
And now
I got to pull that forward.
And now I wrote on Discord on 5.5. I said, look it, I don't know where it ends. It's not over with. The pain is not over with. The pain is still here.
Hey, JJT,
if anybody expects it to end this weekend, you're wrong. And Marathon. Remember, every week now we've been complaining about Marathon. I know, hey, listen, I've been saying this forever. And now I know you're going to laugh what my metrics are, but I'll tell you my metrics. You ready?
Ready or not, here it comes.
I'll tell you my metrics. Hang on. 19 people will know my metrics. I am a moon cycle guy. I believe Bitcoin is manipulated based on the full moon and the new moon.
You don't believe that everything revolves around that. You believe that Bitcoin revolves around that.
Yes, Bitcoin. No, everything actually, probably.
Oh boy, I opened up.
So you want to know why I believe that? Because on a full moon, I cannot sleep, and it's been that way my whole life.
Well, there's definitely lots of theories about the full moon.
Yeah.
And
I start doing this, guys. Sorry.
That's just from time to time. It's not correlated to the full moon at all.
Sorry. Practice.
Sure, he said all my sectors sucked. Yeah, that sounds about right. There's been no place to hide. If any of you guys know a safe place, I mean,
energy.
It's been, yeah.
What about energy?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I'm a full mooner. And that's why I got nervous about this month when I found out about the lunar and solar eclipse.
Yeah, there were multiple events occurring within
there's
a time.
And it gets me even scarier. There's supposed to be another one in October. And I thought it would be all over with.
Well, October, that's a whole nother cycle.
But here's the good news. I was hoping Bitcoin would get down to where, so Tom and I really thought about this, and we said, look, if it went to like 30, and then it went down to 20, you'd only lose about a third of your value. But if it was at 40 and it went to 20, that's a half, and it's like, yeesh. Because you know where this is ending up. The writing is on the wall on what's getting ready to happen. Everybody knows it.
We see the gold miners didn't get destroyed, but they did end in the red. Edmund is saying DEFTF, which has changed its name from DeFi Technologies. I'll have to check that one out. I don't know. I'm not familiar. DEFTF. We'll look at the Bitcoin miners in a minute, but I'm sure nobody's in that much of a hurry to relive this week's events. All right, it's $214 million market cap, so it's small, but it's not tiny. Up today. All right,
dude, how is any up?
Well,
I mean, I know it's $1.52, but
right.
Still, it's up.
It's up to $1.52, and I don't know. Like, I know Sherman 1862. You're out there somewhere, and you had a good day because you're an MGTI person. So, congratulations to you. It's like, I don't know, why is this up 11% today? That's how some of these are just high volatility stocks because they're so small cap that, you know, anything can happen. And by the way, this orange line right here, this was where the market closed yesterday. So, like, there was nothing. Bitcoin did nothing today. And the Bitcoin miners were getting destroyed. So, this was another one of those days. JGT, nope, not lost faith. Glad we go through the dip. In 2 years, we think back to this period and ask ourselves why we did not buy more. I mean, that's been true since the beginning of Bitcoin, and I feel the same way. I don't, you know, this is a lot of short-term stuff going on right now, and maybe the pain is not over. But you know what? I looked today. I'll go through some of the prices. I missed my window. I actually didn't buy today because everything opened super down and then kind of just bounced right back up so quickly, and they never really got. I mean, Riot's at $9.49, but Core was at. I'm going to go to Core Scientific. Core was in the 4s today, so like if and when it gets back there, I will be adding. $4.83 was the low on the day today. For Core Scientific, this is down to $1.6 billion market cap. By the way, that's less than forward sales. And, you know, if Bitcoin has a run, this could be a PE ratio of 2 to 1 by the time they're done.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? I'm looking at the total market cap of crypto right now, and it's still 1.7. It hasn't. I mean, as much as it's gotten beat up, it's not really gotten beat up. The whole market has, you know, the whole crypto.
What was it at its top?
At its top was almost 2.5, 2.8.
Yeah, so I mean, it's down a lot.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, remember, I felt that it was going to $1 trillion.
That's even beyond your $29,000 scenario. That's a Bitcoin. Well, let's see.
Well, that would wherever.
Well, you know, that's a Bitcoin, like 22,000, I guess.
Oh, is it? Oh, it might go a little lower then. I think Marathon is destroying the whole, and we're gonna blame Marathon.
Let's blame Marathon.
They're taking the whole industry down, and where does it end? Where does Marathon end?
At Marathon, I just did a video on Marathon, and I mean, in the video, I basically went through and said it's a lottery ticket. Like, if somehow miraculously they end up doing what they say they're gonna do, it's gonna be worth a fortune.
I figured out what happened with Marathon. Okay, you ready? You know how you pin the tail on the donkey?
Yeah.
That's for the plug of the Bitcoin miners. They're doing the same. Oh, I missed it again.
Wrong.
Oh, so close. Who has the most mining machines?
Well, who has the most that are operating, or
total? Who has the most?
It's got to be. I think Marathon has more than Core Scientific, but the vast majority of theirs are not plugged in. So the most up and running by far is Core Scientific. Marathon, if they plugged everything in, they got 70,000 machines not plugged in. They'd be well over 100,000 machines right now. They'd be over 10 exahash. But I don't know when that's going to happen. They keep saying it's going to happen, but, you know, month after month, it's another... This was their worst month mining in... They fell down... Let me put it this way. This month, in Bitcoin mined, Marathon is going to finish, out of the publicly traded companies, Marathon's going to finish in 7th place. Of just straight number of Bitcoin, or, to be fair... Bitcoin equivalent mined, because Hive mines Ethereum as well, and as you guys know, Hut also mines a little bit. So those are Bitcoin equivalent, but they are going to finish in 7th place. I mean, if all their machines were plugged in, they'd be in 1st place. That's how far off their plan they are. And the thing is, even if they get back onto the plan, how many Bitcoin did they miss? You know, that could have been 1,000 extra Bitcoin this month. So, you know, they're gonna look back at a window where they're gonna say, you know, had we been at full capacity, had we been on plan, we would have had another 8,000 or 10,000 or 12,000 Bitcoin. And, you know, you can't get that time back, and we're approaching the halving. So, you know, there's only a finite amount of time that you're going to be able to mine those kind of numbers. And they're just squandering it.
Yeah, big time. I mean, I think... Instead of closing down and complaining about, you know, ESG, I probably would have minded and just like, oh, what's that? Sorry, wrong number. Well,
this is the problem. You can't it's the what do they call that when the treatment is worse than the disease.
yeah.
You know, they did not have to shut everything down immediately. Like, if they had transitioned over the course of the next 6 months or a year, it's going to be a bit before we get regulations. And the regulations are going to be reasonable. I do suspect that one regulation will be, and I don't even know if this will happen, but it is possible, and this is about as far as they can go. I think they may say you cannot use coal for Bitcoin mining. And I don't even know if they can say that. But I would say that is as far as they can go. Then they may require a disclosure on your carbon footprint. But if they do that, they've got to do it for everybody. And there's plenty of miners where that's going to be a small number. Like, there's some miners looking forward to that disclosure. And there's some others that are not. So we'll see how that goes. But ESG cannot just... It can't be the only factor. Your business model, your profitability. I mean, the energy side of this is a complicated, very long conversation, but it's you know, you guys watching probably know a lot more about it than most people, but most people are you know, they're ignorant, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean in the literal sense of the word. They're ignorant to the actual facts regarding the amount of energy that's used in Bitcoin versus the amount of energy that's used in the world, and the amount of energy that's wasted in the world, and the amount that's off grid or behind the grid or on, you know, carbon neutral. So, you know, it's a very complex situation, and you can't boil it down to Bitcoin bad.
Well, and I think that either you have to control the news or the news control you. You're either planning or reacting. It's always a business. And when you react, and in this case, you reacted poorly. I mean,
well,
it's awful.
I mean, Marathon is just, I don't know what they're doing well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, here's the stuff they're doing well. Here's the stuff they're doing poorly. Like, at the moment, and internally, maybe they know something I don't know, but they continue to receive shipments of machines that they can't plug in. They turned a lot of their machines off. They mined 299 Bitcoin. I mean, it's unbelievable. And somebody was telling me in the Discord, I guess we could go check this out, that May looks worse. So, you know, it's not like it's getting any better, and I don't expect that it will. They expected to be at 13.3 exahash next month. They've been telling everybody that for over a year. They mined at a rate of, somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 exahash this month.
So, and here's the other thing. It's called the poker face. You gotta, even if everything is disaster to a degree, you have to still have that poker face. We sat down at a board during the Bitcoin conference, and I didn't know who anybody was, and I picked him out. What was Fred, Fromo?
It's Fred.
I think that's his name, was Fromo. And I picked him out as the person that had the most troubling look on his face. And
he looked like he didn't want to be there. He
yeah,
looked like
totally.
he couldn't be bothered.
Yep.
And he was, and you just get the sense from his his demeanor at the conference was definitely an indicator, and his comments, some of which are just small things, but when you add them all up, it just feels like Marathon. I'm not going to say they've given up, because that's not fair. I don't know what they're doing. Like I said, for all I know, listen, maybe they're going to plug all these machines in and be the best miner ever. But at the moment, based on what's actually happening, it just feels like they're drowning. And that's how they look.
And here's what I was told. The whole reason Bitcoin's getting hammered is so that they can buy Marathon at a cheap price. What do you think?
I think that is false, because
this is my poker face.
The market cap of Marathon is so immaterial and irrelevant versus Bitcoin. You don't manipulate the monster to try and move the pebble,
This is my poker face.
George's poker face, everybody.
Hey, I mean, what's a better way to communicate to somebody without communicating to somebody? Follow the moon phase.
So Garrett is saying HUT is now lower than when it first started trading on the U.S. stock exchange last year. Right, so it was on the Canadian exchange, and it still is, but it listed on the NASDAQ. So even with conviction, it's concerning watching it go so low. And that's the hard part. This is a sector where, when you say you got to have conviction, it's on another level, because watching this price action is just mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling. I'm just numbers person. I just do the math on it, and it's like there's no but it's not just the Bitcoin miners. However, the Bitcoin miners have been destroyed, but all the small cap high growth stocks, you can't even. Fubo was down 95% coming into today. They announced earnings and they dropped 20%. How do you drop 20% when you're already down 95%? I mean, those kinds of things show that this market it's vicious right now. It's just vicious.
Vicious?
It's vicious.
So
I've never
earlier
seen
this week,
those moves.
Earlier this week, I said to Tom, why don't you do a look at which companies are going to go down, let's say $20 billion. And then Tom doesn't do that. And the next day, they go down $20 billion.
What he's saying.
We had a list. Go ahead and explain it.
Right. What George is saying is, I've always had a list, and he knows my list, so he keeps telling me, why don't you do a video and show everybody? And NVIDIA is at the top of my list right now. And it's not because I think they're a bad company. I'm just looking at the numbers, and they are likely to be the next victim, in my opinion. And they could lose, between $50 and $100 billion in market cap. And they'll probably still be overvalued. Yeah, still right now.
So, and here's what's even crazier. They have an ESG score, the lowest we've seen, at 16.9. How is that?
These ESG scores make no sense to me. I pay them no attention whatsoever. I don't know how much of the market is trading on these ESG scores. They're, as far as I can tell, they're arbitrary at the moment. Maybe someday we'll come up with a system that makes more sense. And they also have to be put in perspective, because also, Like, doesn't running the business and making money, isn't that a part of the value of a stock? I mean, that, call me old-fashioned, but that used to be 100% of the value of a stock. It can't have gone to 0.
Oh, I have a question. Do we have to worry about anybody being delisted based on their price, or buyback or buying shares so they can raise their price back up?
Any of the Bitcoin miners?
Yes, yes.
None of the big. So if I go to my list, I mean, none of these at the top of the list are in danger of that happening.
What do you know what price point that is? I mean, do you know how much it has to be?
To be on the NASDAQ, there's a certain period of time you need to have an average of over $1.
Oh, okay.
And then otherwise you get some warnings and you get some time. So even after you go, you'll see plenty of them under $1 that are in the process of either fixing the problem with a reverse stock split, or, I mean, typically that's what ends up happening, but I don't see any of these stocks ever getting to that point. But I will also tell you, I mean, absolutely honestly, I did not see these. I would have never believed that Bitfarms would be at $2.71 and HUT at $3.41 and Riot at $9.49. I mean, some of these numbers are just, they're shocking to me. And that's where the conviction comes in, because I have to just keep looking at the companies and going, okay, I mean, nothing's changed. They're going to make money. The only way these numbers make sense is if Bitcoin just crashes and just never recovers. That's how the Bitcoin miners are priced at the moment, for a permanent, not even a crypto winter, a permanent Bitcoin crash with no recovery. That's really the only way to get to these valuations, in my opinion. What do you guys think? You think these are undervalued? Do you think they're going down a lot more? What's...
This gets me. I'm just looking at Lux right now, because Lux is down more than anybody else today.
And I saw Luxfolio was down to 16 cents.
Yeah, so just remember when they went to the Canadian or whatever, I think it was the Germany Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
They were at 22 cents. They announced yesterday that they increased their hash rate and they've gotten their power all situated. And I mean, it's terrible. It's 180 with a total cache of 180 petahash, with an increase of over 6% from the previous month. So I mean, they're doing the right thing.
Their operations are doing just fine, and obviously they're at the very small end. But the market cap is under $10 million on that one, I think. So
yeah,
you know,
but is that true? In the month of April, Bitcoin mining operated 180. Okay, so they mined 24, which is nothing. But I mean, they're growing. Is my whole point. They're growing in a positive, hash rate, unlike other companies.
If you look at a lot of the monthly updates, so you guys know I do videos on those, and I study the monthly updates, and I'm continuously reading the 10Ks. I don't know. I don't want to say most. Many of these companies are operating at an exceptional level, and their stock is getting destroyed at the same time. And I'll go back to this chart. Today, these stocks didn't get destroyed because Bitcoin went down today. Bitcoin was within a margin of error of not even moving today. So it was within a couple of $100 of where it was yesterday. So it's not, there's just these days where, like, why when Bitcoin's down 0.1% is HUT down 6%? Don't know.
I have to buy more of my Lux. They're getting 1,400 miners this quarter, and 300. They actually got their order of their miners in early.
The thing about a Luxfolio is, and you just got to have an even stronger constitution, because the smaller cap these stocks are, the wilder the swings they are. But that provides you with an if you're a trader, you don't even have to be a day trader. If you're a swing trader, something like a Luxfolio, I'm sure a lot of people have made a lot of money on the up and downs on Luxfolio. I mean, even CleanSpark from March 1st to May 1st went up 130%. So that's more than a double. And then went all the way back down to where they were at the beginning of March 1st. So, I mean, if you want to talk about volatility, that's volatility. And that's not a tiny little miscellaneous company. I mean, these guys have they're consistently operating at this point. There is no sense in that in a 2-month period. And it was basically March awesome, April horrible. So I think March 29th, if you sold all your stock on March 29th and shorted CleanSpark, you quadrupled your money in 2 months.
I know. Garrett just says, I keep thinking that it can't go any lower. And it does. I think it's going lower. Just so everybody knows, I think we're going lower.
Bitcoin or the miners or both?
Yes, both, absolutely both. I think this next week is a crucial week. Well, actually, probably the next 2 weeks are going to be a crucial week. It's like one of those things that could go either way.
The jury's got a limit order for Hive at $1. I mean, $1. The fact that that's even like in the realm of possibility right now, and this is another day in a row that Hive has hit its low, 52-week low. So, I mean, yeah. And Hive's Hive's the most efficient miner out of all of them, just strictly speaking, just from a exahash to Bitcoin mined ratio. And again, with them, it's Bitcoin equivalent. And I do think they get a big boost from Ethereum on that.
I gotta think that it's really interesting, these meetings with these CEOs and CFOs and everybody. They've got to be freaking just puking.
Yeah, it's hard to time it, somebody said. Oh, George 2. I guess we are all George. It is hard to time. I mean, that's the thing. Like, when I don't really think anybody a year ago, anybody really would have thought, well, a year from now, Bitcoin's going to be at $36,000. And every single Bitcoin mining company, all added up, put together, is going to be worth like $8 billion. Right? I mean, like Nvidia lost 3 times as much market cap today as all of the Bitcoin miners put together in their existence. So that's how small this sector is. So this is why it's manipulated in such a way. It's very small. I think it will not be very small 5 years from now, but we're not there yet.
And Kirby, I agree. Investing in Bitcoin mining has been awful. It's been awful. It's been awful.
I mean, that's just a verifiable fact.
It is. It's been awful.
If you have not sold, and your time frame is long term, then the jury is still out. Right. Obviously, you would like to be buying in at lower and lower numbers, but if, for instance, if Bitfarms ends up at $50 5 years from now, nobody's going to remember, that 2021 and 2022 were brutal.
I'm thinking, well, I mean, it's individual stocks. I think Marathon could get cut in half from where it is today, personally.
The problem is Marathon's balance sheet Marathon's already priced so low. And yes, they can keep going down. And by the way, I have several stocks that are priced below their net cash. So, I mean, I guess who knows how low they can go.
Yeah, I would comfortably say another 10 to 12%. I think it really just depends on where Bitcoin shakes out here in the next 14 days. And I'm hoping this is the worst of it, by the way, this month. There's 2 schools of thought, that this could be the end of it and we're going on a nice little ride for the summer.
Jam.
Or that this could be the beginning of it and it's going to be bumpy the whole summer. But let's be honest. People are afraid. The United States is afraid of Bitcoin. And there's a reason why. And there's a project that someday I'm going to work on that fixes a lot of problems. and I can't explain it, but I'm telling you right now, Bitcoin is a truth machine, and remember that. Right? I mean, that's true? I understand these guys that write these books and stuff like this about what was it? The 21 million reasons or something like that. I mean, it is amazing. Bitcoin is amazing. It is so amazing. And you look at every other coin out there except XRP, and they've all been hacked. They've all had problems with their network.
Kirby,
Maybe the newer little ones haven't, but I don't know anything about them yet, you know?
wow, there's so many. I mean, you're talking about the major ones.
Right.
Kirby238 is saying you invest to make money, not to lose 80%. So, I mean, I don't think anybody can argue that point. But what I will say is, I mean, I got about 150 stocks on my watch list that are down between 70 and now 90, between 70 and 97%. So it's not, I mean, everything is getting taken out. So if somebody has a poor, you know, if you're day trading or swing trading or selling options or doing that kind of stuff, you can be making money right now. And that's a different type of account than, you know, my 10K challenge account is really a long-term buy and hold account. But yeah, you got to,
I don't even want to look at that.
You got to be like, if you're a trader, you can make money. Absolutely.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What is it? Do I want to look?
Don't look.
Oh my God.
I do a video this weekend.
We're changing the name. We're changing the name. Oh my God. I forgot all about that.
It did not actually do that bad this week, especially compared to, I mean, the market got decimated this week again.
What? Do you have that book, Tom?
What book?
Or did I leave it in my car? The book that dude wrote about Bitcoin.
I don't have that book. Well, that guy was a Bitcoin purist.
Yeah, purist. And I understand. I understand the reason there's Bitcoin purists. Totally understand that. Just so you know, for some reason it says our time remaining on this Zoom is 6 minutes. I don't know why it says that. So it might automatically stop.
I don't. Well, we'll end it in
out.
5. I don't know why it's doing
I don't know.
that.
I'm just saying. It says meeting time remaining in the meeting 6 minutes.
But they changed the rules.
I don't know.
So yeah, I mean, Kirby's saying I stopped putting money in 3 months ago. Haven't sold, but that was the best decision to stop. And you know what? George did pretty much the same thing. And you know, there's no.
I pulled half of my money out at the beginning of the year. And I will let you know that I put in a large sum last month, and it's gone. It went poof.
It's not gone.
Right. If you guys don't have an ego in investing, meaning like if you don't look at it every day and you still have the stocks, you know, you can still vote. You're still a part of something.
You can send your proxy vote in.
Yeah, you can send your proxy vote. You're still a part of something. ETH. Do you like ETH? Tom, I'll let you take this one.
Well,
I love ETH.
George does not love ETH. I mean, ETH has mass adoption at this point. I do think there's still a debate out there that people don't realize, which is this proof of work versus proof of stake thing is not a done deal, even though everybody's 100% assuming that it's done and imminent. So, you know, I think that hangs over its head a little bit more than people realize. And for me, I don't know. ETH may end up, you know, if there's a few winners, that may be one of them. But I don't want to say I'm a Bitcoin purist, but I definitely, for me, I'd rather have my money in Bitcoin than in anything else. Any of the other coins. Especially over the last 8 or 10 months, things have been so volatile. And, you know, the ups and downs have been just unbelievable in the altcoins. You know, and the smaller they get, the more massive the swings are. And I don't have the level of, so I've put so much time into researching Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners that I'm able to sit here and watch these go down and feel okay. But with, you know, the next altcoin, I don't know what that thing is, so I'm going to panic when it goes down and sell it.
Yeah, let's see the technicals on Bitcoin.
Yeah, Anthony is a purist for sure.
And just so you know, I personally don't think that Bitcoin should be measured by the US dollar. I think that's a broken system.
Well, what else are you going to measure it by?
My moonbucks.
It's just your made-up Moonbucks currency?
No, I honestly, I don't. I understand Michael Saylor. Is that his name? Michael Saylor? I understand what he says. Is the knowing what Bitcoin does and what it achieves. And in the thing that it achieves, no one even talks about it. You know what I mean? And that, you know, what it achieves is its truth. And that is so interesting when you really stop to think about it.
You are talking about the difference between the Bitcoin fundamentals,
yes,
and the Bitcoin technicals, which we tend to focus on this channel, and most people tend to focus on. But if you look, so yeah, if you look at, and that's been, I try to say that in every video. Like, sometimes I put out a video that I think we're going down in the next few days, but that doesn't mean I'm bearish on Bitcoin. It's just, that's what the technicals are looking like. And I'm still long-term bullish. I mean, the fundamentals on Bitcoin,
they haven't changed.
They're, if anything, they just keep getting better and better. So I don't, you know, they can hold this off, but to me, the story has not changed. And if it has changed, it's for the better.
And my other theory, by the way, is that this is going to go on until November. That this is just going to be a rocky road up and down, you know, until November. But Tom did he asked me a really interesting question, and this was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he said, how long can they keep this pain? He goes, what is the max amount of time they can keep this pain? And I said 2 years. I said the max amount of time that they can keep this pain doing this is 2 years. But after 2 years, there's a big, the halving is really going to change the fundamentals of Bitcoin again.
I mean, if nothing else between now and then, at the halving, there will be a change.
Yes.
So, and I don't think it's going to take nearly that long. Jeff, I think we're going to have a relief rally sooner than later. I think we're about to get cut off for some unknown reason in like 1 minute. So
you see it too, right?
Yeah, I don't know why. Well,
I don't know either.
That's new.
Dun, 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 dun. I think we might have to. Maybe I didn't pay for the. Yeah, I sold the.
You sold it
money.
And put it in Bitcoin.
Yeah, I put it in Bitcoin.
Well,
there's a countdown.
Let's wrap it up and tell everybody to have a nice weekend.
Well, I mean, yeah, if it cuts off, it cuts off. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. Go to the technicals on Bitcoin real quick.
I mean, I did a video on the technicals yesterday, and the technical setup is not good right now. I mean, again, these are short term. I'm talking about the next week, the next 2 weeks, and the technicals have been very neutral for about 5 or 6 weeks, and really about 2 days ago, they went from neutral to bearish, and that could be a short term thing. I mean, Bitcoin is so volatile that, you know, you feel it's. I know some people get frustrated and they comment on it,